Hi, how are you doing? Now in this video you're going to learn about spread operator. It is also used as a rest operator and also as spread operator. So in both cases what you would do is you would use three dots. Okay, so you can use this to combine two arrays into one or combine two objects into one. Okay, and when you combine, it does not modify or mutate the original source. So the original array or object stays as it is. It doesn't get modified. Rather, we create a new instance, new object or new array. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's create a simple example and we use this spread operator on arrays and object as well. Okay, so let's begin with arrays. Let's create a variable. Let's call it mountains. Okay, and then let's create this array and let's add a couple of mountains. Okay, Everest, Fishtail, and Annapurna. Okay, so we got three mountains in this array. Now let's say we got more mountains. We got another variable that contains some other array, another array with more mountains. Okay, so let's say variable mountains from Japan. Let's say Fuji. Now it can have more, but let's just keep Fuji because I don't know any other name of the mountains from Japan. Okay, so we got the mountains variable which contains three mountains and this variable contains one more. So total we got four mountains. Okay, so what I would like to do is I would like to create a new variable that contains both of these. Okay, so using spread operator, what we can do is let's say var all mountains equals to this array. It will hold, it will spread out all the contents of the mountains. Okay, mountains, and also we spread out the mountains from Japan. Okay, so now this variable contains this array mountains and this array using these three dots comma separated. Okay, now if you console log all mountains, what we see is we see all these mountains from the first variable and the Fuji as well, the second variable. So this will become very useful when you're working in an actual application. For example, let's say you have a state that contains a certain data and then you might get additional data from the API. You make API request and you get more data. Okay, so you might want to combine both data and render into your application, right? In a situation like that, it can become very useful. Now let's try using it on object as well. We did this on array. Now let's try on objects. Let's create a variable called day. This is an object and this will have, let's say, breakfast. This will contain the breakfast food. Let's say toast with milk. Okay, and then let's say lunch. Let's say rice with chicken curry. Okay, so this object contains breakfast and lunch, and let's say we get one more object variable, let's say night, and let's say this one contains dinner, noodle soup. Okay, so we got these two objects. So what we want to do is we want to combine both of these objects and produce a new object. Okay, so what we can do is we can, let's say we are doing this for picnic. Okay, so we want to take all the foods we would eat in a day to our picnic. So using these three dots we can use on day object, and then we can also use on night object. Okay, now console log picnic, let's see what we get. Okay, we're missing one more. Okay, so make sure we have 3. Save, refresh, and as you can see, we get one single object which contains a breakfast, dinner, and lunch. So this becomes extremely useful in real world application. Now let me create one more object, one more example, and this example will show you how you can use it to get the rest of the elements. Okay, so these 3 dots can be used as a spread as well as a rest. So let's have a look at the rest side of it. Okay, so let's create a variable called rivers. So this is an array, and this will contain a couple of rivers: Sunkosi, Tamakosi, Saptakosi. Okay, so we got these 3 rivers. Now let's say I want to get the first one and the rest. Okay, so what you can do is you can use create a variable using the array destructuring, and what you can do is you can say first you want to get the first, and then you want to get 3 dot rest. Okay, now what you can do, you can console log, and let's say we want to see the first one only. Okay, so let's see, we get only the first one, Sunkosi. Now if we want to get the rest, we can do rest, so this would give us the rest, not the first one, right? So refresh, as you can see, we got the rest but not the first one. And this works exactly the same way in an object as well. So this is how we can use these 3 dots as rest or spread operator in ES6.